Samantha in Rochester, you're on Rover's Morning Glory. Good morning, Samantha.
I'm such a power woman in my career that when, in my relationships, I actually ask men to physically hit me and to, put me in my place. I think things were so much simpler in the rule of thumb days and, women being subservient.
If you're dating a guy, you tell him to hit you?
Yeah, it's okay to hit me. If I talk back to you, slap me. If I'm out of line, put me back in place.
But
that's old school right there.
That is old school. She says that was better. I don't know if it was better when guys could get away with that kind of nonsense. I wouldn't hit a woman like that. Now, I think it's different being dominant, like in the bedroom or something. You throw a girl around.
That's a whole nother story.
You're telling me if you're in the kitchen on a Saturday morning and a guy doesn't like the way that you speak to him, or he thinks that you have a snide comment or a snippy comment, he should just whack you?
Yeah.
What about it if you burned the toast or something?
Yeah.
Do you get a punch in the face?
It's entirely up to him.
You get a backhand or what? I mean,
I've been hit all sorts of different ways. I personally, I can take a lot. So, slapping me, it's nothing. It just puts me back in place. Okay, obviously he didn't like that, so I won't do it again.
Were you abused when you were younger?
She must have been.
I wasn't. No, I would consider myself maybe a sadist and a masochist because I have taken men that have I would never put a hand on you and made that my personal challenge to get him to hit me. And I do feel bad in the end because, I don't know what happens when they go into the next relationship and they may beat another girl, but at the same time, I personally don't care.
Have you ever called the police on a guy?
Oh.
Never.
I don't know then. I don't know what to think of her.
How did you come to realize this? Did you date someone that beat you at first and you realized this is what I like? Or
I honestly, it stemmed in the bedroom. The first guy, and he was just a little bit more rough than normal. And I was like, you know what, this isn't bad. Let's try this. And then, as I got older and a little bit more, sense of who I was and in control of, myself and that kind of thing, I was like, all right, well, what happens if, he slaps me because I talk back and we're not in the bedroom? Would that turn me on as well? I knew when I went into the next relationships what I was going to like. So, I just kind of laid it out on the line. Listen, this is what I like. This is how, this is what I want done. And if he says, I would never hit you, then I'm like, in my head, I'm like, you bet you I can make you hit me. I was a psych major. And so I kind of also know how to manipulate people in that sense, and it's got its pros and cons.
how do you get a guy to hit you?
I just, obviously it's not going to be as soon as I meet you, I'm going to know, all right, this. But after being with somebody for a little while, you kind of know what ticks them, what doesn't, what's going to piss them off. And, it's just once you get them to slap you the first time and they realize, okay, she's not going to call the cops. She's not. And then, she also did what I wanted her to do. After that, it's like nothing. They have no problem doing it.
Jessica, you're on Rover's Morning Glory with Samantha. Good morning, Jessica.
I work at a hospital. I'm a nurse. I think if she's saying she has a normal upbringing, she's never been beaten or whatever, she obviously has some void that she's trying to fill. No normal person wants to be beat on a regular basis. I get the bedroom as a separate, totally different thing. But what she's saying is crazy. And I think she has some type of psychological disorder that she's trying to fill a void.
You think that she should be committed to a mental institution, Jessica?
Not a mental institute, but she definitely needs to be seen. This is not normal. Who wants to be beaten? She's going to end up with a guy who's going to beat the crap out of her, and she's going to end up in the hospital or dead.
Samantha, what do you say to this, Samantha, when someone like Jessica calls in and says that? What's your response?
I'm a full-grown, fully capable woman. I know what
enjoyment do you get out of somebody beating you?
I get off on it.
If she were only into things in the bedroom that many people would consider S&M kinky kind of stuff, like if she wanted to be tied up and spanked in the bedroom or choked or called a dirty slut, that kind of stuff in the bedroom, would you be as critical of her? Would you say how horrible that is? No.
Absolutely not. No. But when someone's saying okay, I burnt the toast, beat the shit out of me, something's wrong with you.
This is what I find fascinating, because we accept this if the people want to live their sexual lives along these lines. We're okay with it. We can say, hey, whatever. You want to be degraded, humiliated, hurt, harmed in the bedroom, knock yourself out. That's your choice. Outside of the bedroom, look at the attitude shift that people have, where they're basically saying she needs to be committed to a mental institution.
And they hate her for it.
Oh.
I think it's because lots of girls get beat, and they don't want to get beat, and this girl's going around seeking it.
Right.
That's weird.